Testing sound. All right. I think we're about ready to go. One more minute. Doing a little bit of fine tuning, setting up. I think we'll be ready to go. I have the game that I'm going to be showing today on the screen for your viewing pleasure. Yeah. So, cool beans. Alright, cool. Alright, cool. Camera? Looking good. Sounding good too? I hope so. Alright. Yay, clapping. Alright, I'm ready to go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to RoopleeTV. And I'm Rooplee. This is episode number 3, where I'm going to show you a game of Alliance vs. Navi that just happened yesterday, I believe. Yes. It just happened yesterday morning. So, yeah, welcome everyone. First up, I don't really have any news for you. So, I just started this channel, guys, last week. Yeah, so it's really exciting. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully, I'm helping you guys out. If you have comments, feedback, suggestions, anything like that, send it to RoopleeTV@gmail.com. You can check out my YouTube, RoopleeTV, or you can just watch me here on Twitch. Cool. Alright, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So today's game is Alliance vs. Navi in the Dota 2 Champions League, which was a best of 5 series. I'm going to be looking at game number 1. Telling you what's going on there. It's a really, really good series. Go ahead and check it out. It's like, and this game in particular is phenomenal. So if you're interested, check out the rest of the games as usual. Yeah, I guess there's not much else to talk about besides let's go into the action. Alright, so this game, I really like the strategy in this game and how it differs from a lot of other games. So you'll see throughout the picks why I picked this game and why I want to showcase it. Well, not only because it's an awesome game, but the fact is, like, not only are they getting good strategies and, you know, very refined strategies throughout this game, it's actually a showcase of how you can mold the game based on what items you get in the game and based on what you do with what you have. So I guess we can go ahead and go into the picks and bans. I can talk about it. Right now we've got Nyx Assassin and Ember Spirit being banned. No big thing there. I mean, it's just, that's pretty common. Yeah, so Ember Spirit has been seeing a lot of time recently. He actually has an amazing win rate. He has an 8 kill per death ratio, and in the pro game since he's been added into the pool and just been seeing so much. His ability to be able to split push as well as jump in and out of team fights, his mobility on top of his massive damage once you stack up some Battle Furies and Desolators for his Sleight of Fist is just incredible. So he is a fragile hero, but at the same time he's also very powerful. So if you can overcome his fragility, you can just dominate the game. So we also see Chen and Lifestealer being banned out. Aki plays an amazing Chen, so that was just a targeted pick. And then the Lifestealer ban was a Havos ban because same thing. Havos is a monster on Lifestealer, just like Aki's a monster on Chen. So they banned that out. They don't want to deal with those strategies, so they're just gonna go ahead and go with, you know, they already have an idea of what they want to do. The Lycan got picked up by Navi. So in case you guys don't know, Lycan was a huge hero back in TI2. You know, just like monster, like first pick, first ban every time. He was like what Batrider used to be, you know, before he got nerfed, and what Alchemist used to be, or even more so. Like Lycan barely ever saw the light of a game because he was always banned. And he's coming back now for a couple of reasons. First off, he is a pushing monster, and the metagame right now is revolving around pushing a lot, just pushing hard, and who can push harder, faster. And if you survive, then you win against their push. So push, counter push. And he's got a Howl. Actually, let's put on the game again, huh? He's got a Howl, which at level 1 gives every hero on your team 20 bonus damage, which is just outstanding. And yeah, he's just able to push lanes. Beast. So in response to that, Alliance picks up the Batrider and Ancient Apparition. So Alliance's strategy as of late has been a lot of global presence, a lot of making sure that you're safe no matter you're not safe anywhere on the map. Like, you cannot do a single thing. The Ancient Apparition has a global presence for his ult, so he can just shatter anybody anywhere on the map at any time, and Batrider is able to make it so nobody can farm in the lane by themselves, or else they'll risk getting blinked on by the Batrider and pulled away and just killed. So, like, that kind of fits in with Alliance's strategy, or really fits in well with Alliance's strategy of just being able to control the heroes on the map and secure more farm by basically fear and saying, hey, you can't farm by yourself ever, or else you risk dying. Navi picks up the Invoker because Dendi plays a good Invoker. Invoker is a very hot hero right now in the metagame. He used to be picked up a lot and then didn't see much picking up for like a year almost. He was only picked up once at TI3, to give you an idea. And now he is seeing a resurgence. He was originally seen as a Quas Exort Invoker, just getting level 9, getting 4 points in Quas, 4 points in Exort, so you have 2 Forge Spirits, and you can just push lanes and get secure farm. Maybe rush an early Midas, because you can, and then just become a monster 25 minutes into the game. But with the latest patch, we've seen the Quas Wex build very popular. EMP got quite a good buff, as well as Forge Spirits getting a nerf. So that's why we see Invoker a lot, and I expect to see him more, just because his versatility that he brings to the plate is bar none. He does a lot of things well. There's some heroes that do one thing really well, like Lycan pushes. Lycan kills bases. That's what he does well. Batrider picks people off. So that's why the Invoker is picked up. I guess we could talk more about the other bans. So Navi decided to ban Naga and Dazzle. They're targeting the Aki hero right now because EGM will play Ancient Apparition, and generally speaking, Aki will play Naga as the support if they pick up a Naga for Alliance. And Dazzle has seen a lot of light recently as well, just because of his ability to push, and Poison Sting is actually really good. as well as just his other skill set helps keep alive and armor pushing. So they got rid of that, but Alliance does pick up the Venomancer. So right now, Alliance has their 2 supports, and either S4 on Batrider or possibly Admiral Bulldog. They have run Admiral Bulldog on Batrider in the past, but it's generally not their first choice. They just leave it open for having that. So in conjunction with this, they want to make sure that they have a powerful tri-lane. Venomancer, Ancient Apparition, plus somebody with burst damage or a stun or a slow or something. Maybe like a Sven. Something to just crush an enemy team. Like somebody who's going to be in their face and just crush them. Navi does pick up the Nature's Prophet. So they have some global presence as well as more push. So they have 2 heroes that have decent push right now. And then they have Invoker who can do kind of everything. So I expect Alliance to pick up a load of hero right now because of the fact that Batrider could go on S4 or Admiral Bulldog. They want to force Navi to ban a hero that they want to force the pool that Navi could potentially ban from to be higher so that they get better chances of getting the hero that they want. So I would say a Lifestealer would be good, but like I said, something maybe like a Sven, even though we haven't seen Sven in ages. Just somebody that can go aggressive with Ancient Apparition, Venomancer, maybe even possibly like a Spectre, something like that, just to do the damage. But Alliance's plan right now is to be in your face. Venomancer's Gale is like one of the best level 1 skills in the game. Ancient Apparition's Chilling Touch is one of the best skills at level 1 in the game as well, giving your entire team essentially a double damage rune from the get-go, as well as Venomancer giving whoever you hit 50% slow for 15 seconds. Yeah, you can't run away from Venomancer. If you get galed in like the first 3 minutes of the game, you're just going to die. Like there's no question about it. You are dead. So yeah, they do pick up the Ursa. So this fits in very well with what their strategy, what they were shooting for their strategy. They wanted to be able to go aggressive in whatever lane, win that lane for certain, no matter what, and then use that power to, you know, take an aggressive stance early on. And Navi immediately responds with the Shadow Shaman pickup. So Navi got another hero that can push, but also this is really interesting because Ursa loves to Roche, kill Roche as well, and Lycan does, and they usually do it about at the same time under normal circumstances. Ursa can do it earlier, but Lycan also can, because of the nerf to the wolves, on top of the fact that Roshan is 25% stronger now. It'll be interesting to see that, because once Ursa gets Vladimir's, he generally wants to go to Roche unless he does it earlier on. So the last bans were the Visage ban from Alliance and the Clockwork ban from Navi. So Navi needs to pick up their second support, their puppy support actually, and it would be nice to potentially, I was gonna say have a Chen, but Chen's already banned out, so pick Chen's sister in spirit, the possibly, but we'll see. Maybe the Enigma. Alliance does pick up Admiral Bulldog's Lone Druid. So this is what I was talking about earlier about the whole like Batrider could be on one, could be on the other. They do ban the Clockwork, so they did assume that S4 would be on the Batrider correctly. And Alliance picks up the Lone Druid because for a couple of reasons. So first off, it's Admiral Bulldog, Lone Druid. Secondly, they pick up the Lone Druid because they needed a core. Like, they needed somebody to last them longer than 20 minutes in the game or push down towers. And Lone Druid does both of those. So Navi does pick up the Enchantress. Not a huge surprise there. This way they can secure more farm and secure the lanes, while at the same time being able to push even harder. So Navi has a heavy push lineup, and Alliance has an extremely heavy push lineup and ganking lineup as well. So the goal for this game for Alliance, if we just look at it in a nutshell, is to sorry about that. The goal of Alliance is to pick off heroes, kill heroes, single them out, kill them off, and then go and convert that into tower kills. They want to go directly from picking off a hero into killing a tower. That is exactly what they want to do. Navi, on the other hand, just wants to be in your face from level 1, pushing down towers, just controlling the lanes, making space with Puppey earlier on, and then Dendi once Puppey starts to get more farm. And they'll have Kuroki just supporting and using his wards in order to push and teamfight, as well as Havost, who he just plans to do what Lycan does best: push down towers, push down bases, farm up, win games. And if Alliance can pick off heroes like Funnick, Dendi, or even like a Puppey, they can, if they're able to pick off the Enchantress, or Nature's Prophet, or Invoker, or Lycan, pretty much anyone. Like, if they're able to pick off one of the heroes without using Venomancer's ult, then they can continue to pressure. Ancient Apparition's ult has a short cooldown, so that's not that big of an issue. But that is the goal of that situation, is to have them to be able to pick off one, convert it directly into tower kills, because they have the Venomancer, which has wards to push, they have Lone Druid, it has a bear to push, and they have...
Let's keep it clean.
They just have a lot of conversion into towers after getting kills. Navi's just going to be able to push towers, but... excuse me, Alliance will have to actually push after they get a hero kill. So this is really cool what Alliance is doing right now. They're smoking up with all 5 heroes, simultaneously checking the Roshan pit as well as Funnick, because either team could potentially do Roshan. It's easier for Navi because they have Nature's Prophet as well as the Lycan, and you know that's pretty much all they need in order to do that. So they are able to find Dendi right here. He just stepped out of the way. The cool thing that I really liked about the smoke, here, we'll go ahead and see what happens. Oh, okay, Dendi did die. He ended up giving the first blood. Let's see if they can actually do anything else. It looks like maybe not. So I want to say something cool and something that may get in later about this. So what Alliance decided to do is they decided to go into the enemy jungle. They're going to be able to ward up the enemy jungle so that Enchantress cannot get farm, hopefully pick off any kills. But at the same time, they sent Lone Druid's bear to the Roshan pit. So if Navi was there, they could just gank them in the Roshan pit and go and get some kills. Because they were already smoked up and already ready to go. But if Navi was not doing Roshan, they could go into the enemy jungle. At the very worst case scenario, plant some wards. Best case scenario, get a kill or two. They have Venomancer and they have Ancient Apparition. That is all you pretty much need in order to get kills early on, especially against Navi's lineup. Navi's lineup, level 1, is not that powerful. You've got an Invoker who, at best case scenario, has 2 strength and some mana regen, or, 9 bonus damage. Best case scenario for them, they have Invoker with nothing. Lycan does have Howl, which is like a 20 damage version of Ancient Apparition's Chilling Touch. So that would be not horrible, but Enchantress won't have any creeps. Shadow Shaman will have 1 shackle. He'll be able to strap somebody to himself, and then Nature's Prophet will have 2 trance. That's it. So Alliance has a superior level 1 team fight, so I love the aspect of them going into the enemy jungle, warding up the enemy jungle so that Enchantress can't farm, and then also looking for kills, both in the Roshan pit and in the forest at the same time. So they were able to pick off Dendi from that, and it turned out for them. I mean, like, they had it set up so pretty much no matter what they did, they would get ahead somehow with it, with just like the sentry wards on the camps. So let's go ahead and go back in. Bam! Alright, sweet. So as we can see, Aki is actually laying up sentry wards right here at the large camp, as well as right here at the other large camp. So there are no large creeps for Puppey to use. He'll have to figure out what he wants to do with that, but that's how the current status is that there are no creeps for Puppy. And yeah, so the interesting thing about this is we're already 20 seconds into the game. EGM and Aki are both right here. And Loda's right here. They have not been able to get to the lane yet. The first creep camp is right here. Like, they're going to lose out on experience here, and they got first blood, but if they don't get to the lane soon enough, it could actually even out for them. Pretty much even out. I mean, it will still be an advantage, but it won't be the 400 gold and 200 experience advantage that you're expecting.
Carry on.
Alright, so we've got Dundee up here in mid. He's against a Bat Rider, so what you do against a Bat Rider, always get a magic stick as soon as you can. Just get a magic stick. So I actually want to talk about a couple other things at the same time. We're going to play a little back and forth game here. There's actually a couple really cool things going on at the same time. One in the Dire Jungle, one in the Radiant Jungle. So I'm going to play one of them, and then we're going to go back and we're going to go to the other one so that you can actually see what's going on in both teams and how it's influenced the game from two different fronts at the exact same time. So let's go ahead and go down to the Alliance side first. So what we have here is Aki is doing chain pulls. This is really the preferred method over stacking and pulling. Stacking and pulling won't give your supports as much experience, and because you won't be able to kill the entire creep wave, and you won't be able to do this like pulling through. Actually gets you more experience overall. You get to kill both the camps, and you get it earlier. So what Funnick does here, which is really good, and the reason why Nature's Prophet can offlane, is that he's disrupting this chain pull right here. This is the disadvantage to the chain pull, is that it can get disrupted like this. He only gets one creep out of it, but he was able to stop both Aki and EGM from getting this experience batch right here, which is like, a few hundred experience. Well, they're still able to end up getting it, but the treants are causing enough disruption that they're not able to get it safely and potentially even pull to a triple pull over here. Funnick, he started off with Clarities in order to just keep popping his treants. He has a whopping 2 creeps worth of experience right now, 2 minutes into the game. If we look at Druid, he's level 3 right now, to give you an idea. So that's what I wanted to show you that side. We're actually going to go back now. Go back to 1 minute approximately, and then check out Puppy. So what Puppy does here is Admiral Bulldog's playing up here. He's playing against a Lycan, a Shadow Shaman, and Enchantress coming out. So he has to be aware at all times of where Puppy is. That is his one gotcha. Like, if he ever sees Puppy, see right here, the second he sees Puppy, he just runs back. I actually turned off the vision so you could see where he had vision of them. But he just goes back as soon as he sees Puppy. So Puppy was able to push him out of the lane by not even doing anything, and utilizing the fact that even though he doesn't have any of his large camps, he got a fortunate centaur and was able to do something with it. So he's just using what he can. He's not panicking. He's not trying to deord anything like that. He's just using what he's finding to the best of his ability and going out and ganking as much as possible. So we've got the centaur is just causing some disruption up in mid. It's to let Dundee get more farm than S4. That's all of this is doing. Like, he's trying to get a stun off. He does get a stun. Cold Snap, see, it's able to bring S4 down, and that's actually a really important point, because right now Puppy just picked up an Invis rune, and Alliance does not know that. They know that the rune is up top because of this ward right here, but they do not know. They don't know what rune is up top. So what they're going to do is they're going to try and scout the rune and see what's going on. So Alliance goes ahead and they scout the rune. They see that the rune's missing, but they don't know what it is. This is one thing that S4 does, because it was really unfortunate timing. They knew that the rune was top, but they didn't know what it was. And Puppy was actually invis going through at the same time. So Puppy's going to be able to go back And one thing I want to point out here is Havost is actually going to help out in this team fight. Believe it or not, I'll go back into the game, and Havost is going to be a huge key in this death right here. So the first key was the harassment damage from the Centaur and Enchantress earlier on, but Havost all the way up here is going to help out. So go into the game, watch this. Havost howls the minute that this gank goes off, like all the way up from the top lane. He just has that kind of awareness, gives them the extra damage that they need from both Dendi and Puppey, 20 each. So each right click was doing 20 more damage. It's a pretty good amount. And that was able to secure first blood. Yeah, so that's really cool to be able to have a hero contribute like that as your carry that early into the game and be able to secure kills like that. Puppey's able to just go try and farm, not really get anything done. So he's just going, since he can't really farm the jungle much, he knows that he only has this camp and this camp up here to work with. Puppey is actually going to try and make whatever happen that he can. That's why he's been so active this game. One of the reasons is because he's trying to mitigate the fact that his creep camps are warded. He can't do anything about that. Well, he can try, but it would be expensive and risky. The less risky and more aggressive approach is to convert the fact that he doesn't have big creeps into things like hero kills and tower kills. So what was really cool that Kuroki and Puppey were able to do right here is they're able to lay this ward. They're like, okay, so we know that Lone Druid is getting experience, he's getting farm, you know, he's able to farm up the ancients, he's able to farm up in the jungle, but we want to make sure that you can't farm in the lane. We're going to take down your tower, we're going to push you down, and we're going to make sure you can't farm in the lane. We're going to try and get Funix some farm down bottom, but we're going to make sure that you're completely isolated. That ward lets them ensure that. Like, there's no way that they can do anything aside from like TPing 3 heroes in, which would be a huge investment at this point in the game. So they're just pretty much going to have to let this tower go down. Like, I mean, it's already almost dead anyway. Just having level 5, popping the wolves immediately after, and then just trying to get the kill, catapult, ninjas that steal. But, you know, they're able to get a tower down 4 minutes in, and Funix actually able to come up here. They're killing the bear. So what Admiral Bulldog here is something that I didn't point out before, is that Admiral Bulldog, in order to stop this push, he uses his Spirit Bear, pulls the creep wave back, and he's just delaying it. But this also gives you an idea of how strong Lycan's push is. So the bear is up here just stopping everything. That's the moment that, you know, Nature's Prophet is just like, hey, you know, I can come in and I can get some damage done here. But they don't even have a creep wave, and they're still able to take down the tower. That is incredible to say that Lycan has enough push on top of Enchantress to be able to take down a tower without a creep wave. And on top of that, you know, Funix is able to get 300 gold from the Lone Druid's bear. Luckily, his bear's ready for resummoning soon, but it's still very good for Funix to get that kind of gold. He really needed that because he was far behind compared to Lone Druid as far as offlanes goes. And that will help him shoot up in speed, get that Midas a little earlier. So Dendi and S4 have a little skirmish. The tornado might come, but okay, he just threw out a cold snap and nothing else. I think there's a tornado that's coming up soon, I swear. But anyway, okay, here we go. So he cold snaps tornado, but the bottle during the tornado gets S4 the health he needs to stay alive. And Funix TP's down bottom to try and help out this tower, but the power of this lane is so strong that they're able to just push through the tower and kill Funix. So they were able to take down Funix without really much of a problem, much of an issue at all. We're going to see a couple more TPs come in here to help out. We've got Kuroki who TP'd in. Funix is going to come back. He desperately needs this experience. He's level 3 right now. To give you an idea, Kuroki is level 4. So they're what Navi's trying to do is they're trying to get Funix back into position. Like, he didn't get experience pretty much at all in this offlane. It's questionable whether or not he should have just abandoned the lane, but actually that brings up a good point that I want to talk about. So a lot of times in the past, not as much recently, but in the past, lanes would get abandoned all the time. Off lanes would get abandoned. It's always a choice on whether or not to abandon the off lane, and it's twofold, really. So the first thing that you can say is, by standing in this off lane and doing something, I can lower the levels of the supports and force them to stay in this lane, keeping my mid safer. Like, you can keep your mid safer, you can keep their carry a little under leveled or a little under farm, but you're not going to be able to get much levels. You're not going to be able to get any last hits at all, and you might get some experience if you're lucky, or if you do if something happens, pretty much. So you're giving up the fact that you're not getting experience, you're not getting gold, for the fact that you're shutting down their supports from rotating, getting kills, and trying to disrupt their jungle as much as possible. Which is why Bounty Hunter is really good in the offlane, because he's able to just hide in the enemy jungle and just sap the experience and get last hits at the same time. So that's why Bounty Hunter is used in the offlane. It's because he has invis, and he can't jungle like most offlaners can, but he's able to pick people off, and also why Bounty Hunter was banned this game. But Funnick has actually chosen to stay in the lane, trying to shut down their Ursa Ancient Apparition Venomancer combo, because if they came on Dendi and came behind him, he would just die immediately. Like, there's no way that Dendi would be able to get out of a Venomancer Ancient Apparition Bat Rider combo unless he Ghost Walked and they didn't have Dust or Sentries. But if they're going to go mid for a gank, they'll probably have them. So Funnick, by staying down here, he's able to keep the pressure away from the Lycan and away from the Invoker in order to secure their farm, which is more important than his own. But in order to stay relevant, he's going to have to catch up and farm later on. So anyway, that was a bit of a digression. Let's go back into the game. So we've got Funnick right here with Kuroki down bottom. So Kuroki's down here. Lycan is just farming like a monster. I mean, he has 43 CS. He almost has his medallion Vladimir's 6 minutes into the game. He's level 7. He doesn't have any kills or deaths or assists. He's just farming like crazy. 45 CS 6 minutes in is incredible. And he's able to do that because of what I was talking about with Funnick earlier, as well as Kuroki just rotating. Like, Kuroki and Puppey have been able to create space for Lycan to just do whatever he needs to do to get every single last hit that he possibly can, no matter where it is. And they were able to get this tower down, which makes the jungle safer, but the lane a little less safe. Yeah. So Puppey actually is able to get a stack here. So the creeps did respawn eventually, and Puppey's able to get a stack. And we can see at this point that Puppey is level 4. He's going to hit level 5 from this stack. But at the same time, Aki, on his Venomancer, who has no real way to jungle, is approximately the same level as Puppey. Puppey was able to catch up just because of that stack. But before that, they were the same level and had like the same amount of farm, because of the different ways that the two heroes were playing. So the Enchantress was just farming the jungle. Not farming the jungle, sorry. The Enchantress was getting a creep in the jungle and then farming the lane, trying to get hero kills. Aki was only coming in as needed, so he wasn't able to do anything. They're able to pick off EGM right here. He doesn't really have an escape, and just the rapid response between Funnick and Denny is able to shut them down. So they're probably going to be able to convert this into a tower kill from here, just because they were able to kill EGM, and now Aki has to run, and the Loda's Ursa has to run as well. But at the same time, instead of defending that tower, Loda is going to go mid, and he's going to help S4 pressure the tower, possibly. Oh no, they're actually going to be able to defend the bottom. So yeah. And like I said earlier, the interesting thing about this matchup is Lycan has Medallion and he has the Vladimir's offering. So Lycan is ready to Roshan whenever he wants. Oh, sorry. Missed that. Lycan is ready to Roshan whenever he has the opportunity, whereas Ursa still needs his Vladimir's finished up in order. So what we've got going on down here is that Puppy is down here, tries to gank with Funnick and Kuroki, but because of the positioning of the Alliance heroes, they were actually not doing much, but Loda has a TP, S4 has a TP, and EGM's just walking there. Like, they're able to spot this out early. S4's TPing in. And they're able to convert this instead of a 1-for-0 in favor of Navi. They're able to take out 2 of Navi's heroes for free. And get the creeps too, which I mean is just some extra added bonus on top of that. But that affords the Vladimir's offering for Ursa. So Ursa has Vladimir's. He's ready to Rosh right now. Lycan is actually, I think he's looking to Rosh whenever he can, honestly. Funnick's farming up the Ancients, but Havost is just farming wherever he can. If he finds an opportunity to Rosh, he will. But notice how he's not putting a lot of pressure on himself to constantly smoke up and go to Rosh. Smoke up and go to Rosh. Like you would see all of the time, once a hero feels like they're ready to go do Rosh, they just do Rosh no matter what. Havos is just looking for farm elsewhere. And then when he gets the cue to say, hey, let's go Rosh, he's going to go Rosh. You know, like right now, he's just like, hey, I'm going to go Rosh. I'm going to go kill Roshan. So he's actually starting it right here, which is... It could work out, but they are dewarding as well on the Alliance side. Aki's just looking for any form of ward. They're looking inside of the Rosh pit. So Havos, nice map awareness, is able to pull him out in time, and he's just farming up these Ancients, and he's going to go back to farming. He can't really do too much else now at this point, because they know that Roshan was being looked at. He's actually down a decent amount of hit points too, because of the medallion. Plus how. But we will see Havos go back into the jungle. Not too exciting there. His wolves are, interestingly enough, his wolves are actually elsewhere. Like, he was able to get last hits there with his wolves. And he's just farming with just himself right here. So this is going to be an interesting timing right coming up. We've got the Bat Rider, who has a Blink Dagger after he gets this kill. He's going to have a Blink Dagger. Oh, okay, he's 45 gold away. But he's going to have a Blink Dagger soon. So once he gets the Blink Dagger, this entire game is going to change. Like, this, what has been happening for the previous time is going to change around. Like, there's going to be a stark change in what's going to happen. I said that like 3 times. Oh my gosh, what am I talking about? He's going to get the Blink Dagger, and they're immediately going to be able to contest Roshan. Like, there's nothing that can stop them. They can smoke up, they can go kill wherever they want to. This surprise Blink Dagger is an amazing timing, and that on top of Ursa, as well as Chilling Touch, just means heroes will die. Look, Dendi just melts at the Roshan pit. Havos just melts. Like, they just killed off the 2 cores immediately. The EGM died, but it was like, the amazing thing is that the surprise Blink Dagger, the smoke into Blink Dagger surprise, just completely crushed Navi there. Like, they are down 3 heroes, probably 4, because Puppy is stuck in the Roshan pit just with those heroes. You know, tried to get killed by Rosh, but not. So, I want to show you something and show how important or how awesome turnarounds can be and how unexpected they can be. So if we go back into the game, we can see that 4 of Navi's heroes are dead. They're all coming back up soon, but 4 of Navi's heroes are dead. Rosh is at 2/3, 3/4 hit points, and they have an Ursa and Lone Druid and a Vladimir's. Like, it's pretty well secured if Navi does nothing that this Rosh is gone. But what they do is they do a couple of things. So first, they get Dendi to teleport right up here And this is important because Dendi on the Invoker was spawning about the same time as the Lycan. But Dendi teleported to the mid-tier one because that's within range of his spells. And the Lycan, in order to avoid the extra second that it takes to cast when two people go on a tower around the same time, which is why when you cast a TP scroll, sometimes it takes 2.5 seconds, sometimes it feels like it takes forever, because every subsequent TP takes an extra second onto the time to cast. So Havos, knowing this, goes to the tier 2 down here, which is not too far. And this is twofold. So this is going to let Havos actually be able to pincer the attack. So Dendi's coming in from this side. Sorry, the camera's backwards, so it feels really weird. Dendi's coming in over here from this side. Havos is up here. And Havos is just going to come down and attack at the same time Dendi's casting spells, and then he's going to meet up right here. So they're going to meet up around the Roach Pit, along with the rest of the team who's respawning. So they're going to be able to have Kuroki come in. Funnick will be able to teleport in because he's Nature's Prophet. And, you know, always on the map wherever you want him to be. So they're able to do that. The one thing that will actually turn this fight around is the tornado that we're seeing right now. So this tornado is going to do a lot of work. It's going to suck up the Spirit Bear, the Ursa, and Batrider, and it's also going to dispel this brand new double damage rune. It's also going to set up for a good EMP, and we can actually watch this. So he sets up the tornado into the EMP. I slowed it down a little bit so you guys can see, and this is going to shut down 400 mana, 1 mana. Like, Batrider has no mana, Ursa has no mana, Lone Druid has no mana. They don't have any mana. Havos is coming in from the backside. Kuroki TP'd in and is helping out. Even though this Ancient Apparition ult is going to go off and is going to hit both of them, they're able to hold down the Ursa, pick off the Ursa, because Havos is coming around at the same time. There's nowhere for Alliance to run. Like, Loda just dies. S4, he's in trouble, but this is really cool what happens right here. So neither one can reach him. Funnick lays Treants, and then he sprouts, and then he lays Treants to block this area right here, and they're able to kill off Aki because of that, which is really cool and really thinking on your feet. And Havos is able to get the Lycan kill. He realized when he was not able to catch up to the Batrider that he would just go kill Roche, finish it off. So he does. And that was actually a really, really good decision making on the part of Navi in order to do that kind of attack in order to take down Alliance. Because if Lycan would have come in on the same side as Invoker did, then they would have just been able to run to the right, run over this way, and then just run down away. Like, completely safe. But Lycan was right here to stop them. So now the Roche fight is over, but we're going to see another change in the game. So we're going to see this Ursa. He has 2,080 gold. So right now he has enough gold, and he's going to get a Blink Dagger as well. This is going on top of the strategy of Alliance of nobody is safe no matter where they are on the map. Ursa with Blink, Batrider with Blink, Ancient Apparition with his ult. Just like, if somebody's out of position, they're going to die. So the goal from here on out for the game, for Alliance, is to pick off heroes. Like, they have everything they need to pick off heroes. So they're going to go in and they're going to pick off heroes. Like, look at this. Look at this. Like, just crushes Kuroki. The Shadow Shaman with his very few hit points just gets crushed. And this is going to happen for the, like I said, like throughout the game. Now they have this kind of killing and ganking power, and especially on the part of Kuroki and Puppy, it's going to be very difficult to hold that off. Like, the only thing that they have as a saving grace is that this counter initiation by Invoker is going to let them be able to hold them, like, be able to stay alive. Like, Ursa now has no mana, and he's not going to be able to farm that fast anymore. Yeah, that's their main saving grace. So if Osh is able to run away with his ult, no problem. No problemo over there. Oh, yes. Also, I want to talk about the ward positions. So, since Ursa got his Blink Dagger and Batrider got his Blink Dagger, we see wards aggressively like up here for Alliance. Looks like Navi still has just standard ward positions. A little aggressive, but still standard ward positions. We can go back. Alright, we can go back and check out this. So, mid tier 1 goes down. Like I said, this tornado is the counter initiation. This is what's going to keep them alive. Tornado EMP just forces Alliance back. S4 is able to jump in after the tornado EMP goes down, so Kuroki goes down again. Without the tornado EMP, Navi cannot stay alive. Like they have to rely on invoker spells right now in order to counter initiate and stay alive against the double blinks that are coming in. Honestly, Dendy's been doing a really good job of that, but without that, they can just jump in on anybody and pull them out of the fight. Lycan might be the one exception because of his massive move speed, but other than that, they really don't have much. And I'm just missing fights all over the place. Holy cow. So, one thing that Funnick does a good job of is Funnick does a good job of pulling people away, but this is smoke, so he's going to get crushed. As a Nature's Prophet, he's trying to divert everybody away so that he's been doing this all game, is he's just been trying to create space, as it's called. Creating space. So when somebody says create space, what they're saying is just exactly that. What they're trying to make it so the attention of the enemy team is diverted, so more important things can take place on other people on your team. It doesn't always have to be a carry farming. It can be a tower push. It can be even a support farming. If a support is close to an item like a mechanism, that's a really good time to create space for them to get the mechanism, and then you can push down towers or whatever like that. For any form of timing whatsoever, you can create the space. But generally speaking, it's used to push towers and to get your carry safe. Funnick's been doing that all game as the Nature's Prophet, even though he does die from it, which isn't that good, obviously. He's able to create space. So, yeah. Alright, let's get back into the game. So, space created. One thing I want to bring up right now is Dendy's item build. So, Dendy usually goes for 4 staff, usually gets Blink Dagger, especially on Invoker. On any hero, he likes to get those items. But because of the way that the Invoker's Ghost Walk got buffed recently, on top of just using cross wags, he's just going phase boots, drums, into Yules. Like, he has insane move speed, and the second that he gets his Yules, like right when he gets an item, he just smokes up with Kuroki. He's actually ghost walking on top of smoking, looking for somebody to kill on Alliance. Like, he's looking for a kill. He only has a cold snap right now and an invoke into whatever, but see, S4 is able to see the cold feet from the Ghost Walk and just blink away. So that is the one disadvantage to Ghost Walk, is that the footprints will give away his position, and Alliance or S4 was quick enough to react to that on Alliance's side. So now I want to talk about what is going to happen next in the game. So we've got Dendy with his massive move speed now. He's really going to make sure that he has good positioning for the counter initiation. We've got Havost, who's continuing to farm, but they're looking to get aggressive soon. Like, Navi is looking to get aggressive. They need to get something done, just because right now they're getting picked off by Alliance quite a bit. And what's really cool here is that they're going to be able to try it. Like, Havost is going to push a tower, but the kind of coordination that Navi has is impeccable, and things like what we're going to see here is just what separates a top level pro team from just a team of people playing together. just the coordination and the insight as far as like, hey, you know, at this point in the game, we're going to do this. So Dendi just got his Yules. You know, Havos on the Lycan has his Aegis from when they killed Roshan. And now they're going to just take advantage of it right when they can. And they're going to basically create an opportunity from it. So, yeah, they just take advantage of any lead they have and they just force it into the enemy and crush them. And that is the essence of Navi's style of play. Is just whenever they have a slight advantage, they just cram it in and make it a massive advantage. And that's how Navi is able to especially push out lower, like, teams that haven't accomplished as much in the past. They're able to just crush them with this style that the other team hasn't seen before or is not comfortable playing against. Alright, so let's get back into the game. So Lycan gets hit by his ult, but immediately he just says, hey, Dendi, let's go. So Havos goes up here. Dendi is walking at the speed of light. He's literally hasted without a haste ring. And they go and they pick off Loda. Like, this is the advantage I'm talking about. So quick to react that these two TPs don't mean a thing. Like, one even got canceled. It doesn't even matter. Like, see, the Aegis was going to come back soon anyway, so it's not like they were really taking a risk. They were just pressing a massive advantage and a very small timing window that they had. To be able to just do that, say, hey, let's do this right now, is really, really quick-sighted of them. Also, the Yules helps defend himself against being picked off like that. He's able to ghost walk away as well with as much move speed as he wants, pretty much. So the team fight's happening on, and Admiral Bulldog is going crazy. Like, he's just not dying. His bear dies every time, though, which is not insignificant. The 300 gold that he keeps giving to the enemy team, as well as just the presence from that, is not good. Let's go up here. So at this point, S4 is in a pretty bad spot, and he knows it. Like, he wants to get the kill on Dendi. Dendi even tries to throw out a tornado, gets ready to EMP him, I'm sure. No, he just had cold snap, but he's just trying to get out right now, and he's going farther into the enemy jungle, or the enemy territory, to try and get out. So Admiral Bulldog tries to save him, is not able. If the bear goes down again, obviously really bad. He's got 90 seconds on it, and he's actually almost able to take it out. It just rolls. So what's going to be happening now is that the Aegis expired. This game is run around the Roche. Like, honestly, this dude right here, he's not even alive. You can't even see him, but he's dictating the pace of this game, because both teams have a very good capability to take him down. They just want to contest it as much as possible. So Havos does what Lycan does best. Necro 3, Vladimir's offering, Medallion. He's just looking to push towers. The advantage of the Necro book as well is that you can use it to kill enemy heroes, and the Necro units get the bonus from Feral Impulse as well as Howl, as well as your ultimate. So the ultimate gives you and all of your creeps, Lycan and all of his units, get max move speed. So he's able to just run all of them at full speed, and nothing can run away. And that's the reason why he didn't get a BKB yet, is because he just has max move speed, even if he gets slowed down with Venomancer. This is the global presence I was talking about earlier, and Alliance is just going to be able to capitalize on top of that. So, good positioning by Aki, because he didn't have any form of like dagger or anything to go in, but the blink into Force Staff and the Ancient Apparition all just annihilates people. Like, there's no recourse for that. You just, anywhere on the map, you are not safe. And here comes the contention for the Roshan fight again. Is it up yet? No, it's not even up yet, but everyone is just so focused on this team fight right now. Is that on the Roshan, that they're going to team fight in this corner just for it. So they're able to take down the Shadow Shaman from this and keep this tower from getting pushed all the way back. Basher is up on Lycan. He's still not looking for a BKB yet. Doesn't need a BKB really. The only thing that would BKB would stop would be pretty much Ancient Apparition's ult worth of damage. He can't heal, and then Venomancer's ult. Other than that, he does not really need a BKB. Because the Batrider's ultimate will go through it, as well as the Lone Druid's Tangle from his bear, as well as any bashes. So this, like I said, is the most important thing of this game. The two teams have very similar, yet they have differences in their lineups. They both push towers down really fast, and they both can do Roshan very well. So both teams are going to go for Roshan as soon as it's up. There will be a Lightning Wolf. Oh, there's Roshan. So Roshan is up, and immediately both teams spring into action. We've got Alliance already smoked up, ready to go into the Roshan pit. We've got Navi right here, just smoked up, ready to go into the Roshan pit. Havos is baiting out with his spells. Like, they know that Havos is in here, nobody else. But everybody's able to get here. 4-man tornado is able to shut everybody down. Like, they're just able to kite the Urso around, which is his biggest weakness. The troll net on top of Cold Snap was able to just shut him down. So Navi, or Dendi, sorry, tries to get Admiral Bulldog, but Admiral Bulldog pulls in his little cheat code for getting roots whenever he needs them the most, and able to stay alive. But Navi is able to take another roach kill. So the Howl also works on every other unit on the map, so these treants actually get plus 20 bonus damage. It's a really good combination of Nature's Prophet with the Lycan. Oh my gosh, I've been looking at my face, and you've been looking at my face for I don't even know how long. How long has it been? Too long? Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Let's go ahead and go back. I mean, I guess you already know what I was talking about, but I don't even know how long you guys were looking at my face. That is my bad, indeed. Holy cow. So, I will go ahead and go back just before the Roshan fight, because that is the last really important thing that happened. So, they were both able to... Here's the team fight where they were both fighting. And then they're just going to farm a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and speed through this since I already talked about all of it. But we're going to go ahead and see what actually happened. Alright, so here's Havos baiting in the team fight. And this is where Ursa just gets kited. And then S4 is not able to get in because he got shackled as well. And then Admiral Bulldog is able to pull in his nice hacks. So they're able to push off that team fight and then go ahead and go for the Roshan kill from there. My apologies about you staring at my face. Hopefully it wasn't too terribly long. You know, I guess things happen, right? You're doing it live. It's got to happen. So here we go. Moving on forward. We've got... So Navi from that was able to take a considerable advantage. They're able to get the Roche. They're able to win a team fight. And then on top of that, they're able to put pressure on them because they have Lycan, so they're able to put pressure on this tier 2 tower right here. Navi's just farming up. They're waiting. They want to get this tier 2 tower, but Alliance will let them. So instead, they'll get an amazing Ancient Apparition all off. Everybody's frozen. If Aki's ult is on cooldown, but it doesn't matter. 2 of the heroes dies. I actually want to talk about Lone Druid's item build after this team fight. Go ahead and watch EGM go down. So Havos is able to just try to clean up as much as he can. He does die, but he has the Aegis and they're able to go safely. Everybody parts their way. Okay. So Admiral Bulldog, I want to talk about his build on the Lone Druid. So his lone druid build is not what you'd normally expect. You don't see Radiance, you don't see Midas, you don't see any big item. In fact, his most expensive item is like a Maelstrom, 2,700 gold. You don't see anything big on him for the reason of he knows he needs to be active all game, and because he has so many slots, he can do so much with so little. The global presence once again. The Vost is shut down. The lasso, BKB would not have helped in that situation because he was lasted the entire time. But the nice thing about Navi's lineup is that Loda is forced to get a BKB because of Dendi and Kuroki. So Kuroki's shackles, as well as, you know, the sheep from Kuroki and just Invoker in general, can shut down Ursa, and he needs to get into those fights. Right after that fight, Funnick was farming down here, or pushing, but he is able to do two things. He's able to pull the enemy team down here, and he's also able to recognize the fact that the enemy team is coming down here, and he teleports away as soon as possible. So he just gets out of there. As you can see, it was really close, and Funnick even TP'd in. Alright, so here we've got Navi smoking up once again. They want to go, and they know that the team was down here, so they want to go and they want to find Lions. That's the only logical place for them. But they are not, in fact, available in the jungle. So they're just going to farm up the jungle. But this does one thing. So this also says that all of Navi is down, pretty much stuck in the enemy jungle, trying to get farmed. Like, they have TP scrolls, but not much else. This opens up the door for Funnick to die, because Alliance is no longer nearby, and Funnick is just going to go down, and the rest of Alliance is close enough to back him up if need be. Roshan getting checked once again. Yeah. So, so as you can see, their plans of actions are going into play. Farming the enemy jungle. Still, they're going to try and put pressure on this tower. It's almost dead. So that's really the focal point right now. Put pressure on the tower. Havost is just farming like a monster. 208 last hits, 7 kills, 2 deaths. Like 7 minutes in, so he is just farming like a monster. Dendi does get a BKB because he's dying. He has low hit points, and he's dying to the Ancient Apparition and plus Venomates are all. Yeah, Alliance has a very similar strategy to what Navi is trying to do right now. So Navi is trying to push this tower down here. Aki will not let that happen, but Alliance was also at the same time trying to pressure the top tower. Instead, Alliance with their superior ganking lineup is going to try and pick off Navi because they know where Navi's at and they want to engage. They want to engage or pick somebody off into an engagement. So if they can find anybody not with the rest of the team, they're going to try and kill them. EGM, unfortunately for them, gets picked off. These BKBs right here, it's what let Ursa, Ursa is able to pop in because of that. So it's really, really important to have a BKB on the Ursa. He just goes down after that. Oh, sorry, I am parched. Alright, so Navi is able to take the tier 2. They're able to kill 3 heroes off pretty quickly there, and able to take out the tier 2. But again, another important tier for items is coming up here in just a second. So Lycan is really close, if not already has his. Yeah, he already has his Assault Cuirass flying out to him. And then we've got the Assault Cuirass on the Lone Druid. It's going to be finished up right about now. So we've got Assault Cuirasses on both teams. Neither team knows that the other team has an Assault Cuirass, but there's Blink Dagger also picked up on Kuroki. So this entire game is all about blinking and bashing. it's really not much need for BKB because most people have counter BKBs like bashers, lassos, roots, that kind of thing. So like that's why Havos does not have a BKB. Other heroes do need BKBs if they just take too much straight damage, like the Invoker, like the Ursa Warrior. But it's interesting how both teams were able to take their lineups and fill out what they didn't have through items. If we take a look for just 1 second, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the teams, the heroes from the teams, and see how their items actually complement what they're lacking on their teams. So if we go ahead and go back into the game, we can see their items and their heroes. So, generally speaking, there is only one hero in this entire lineup that has a reliable lockdown, outside of like a Bat Rider ultimate. We have the Shadow Shaman from Kuroki. Like, this is the only hero with any semblance of, hyper aggressive, massive lockdown. In order to compensate for that, we have Lycan with a Basher, and we just have Invoker with a Yules to actually, he usually uses on himself, but he also can use it to lock somebody else down. So, like, we have those two items so far just for the lack of lockdown. And the hero that does have a lockdown has a Blink Dagger, so that they can make sure that whoever needs to be locked down is locked down. On the side of Alliance, similar thing. They only have a Root, an Ultimate from Bat Rider, and they have Ancient Apparitions level 1 Cold Feet, which will stun for 1.25 seconds. So, not a long stun at all. And in order to compensate for this, Ursa is going to get a Skull Basher. Lone Druid has a Skull Basher on his bear, wherever his bear is, right up here. So he has a Skull Basher. And these all go through, both of these Skull Bashers go through BKB, so tough luck for anybody that's getting hit. And Skull Bashers can also be converted into Abyssal Blades, so that's nice. A guaranteed 3-second stun is amazing. And you can actually see just, in a nutshell, that's what they have. Like, their items are able to complement their shortcomings. Two ways to look at it is if you don't have lockdown, get mobility, because then if you can essentially the whole game in this situation for alliances to catch up to the opponent faster than they can run away no matter what. And there are two ways to do that: lock them down, go faster than them. And Alliance is trying to do both, and Navi's trying to do both. That's why I'm talking about how this lineup, they very similar lineups with two slightly different goals. The ultimate goal is the same, but the immediate goal for Alliance is rather pick off hero, pick off tower. The goal for Navi is pick off tower, hope to not get into a 5v5 engagement, or get ganked. Or like they're just trying to knock down the tower, pretty much, straight up. All right, let's get back into the game. Sweet, bam. All right, back into the game. So we've got Alliance down here. They just lost their tier 2 mid recently. Navi is farming up their jungle. Feels like Roshan hasn't been killed recently, so when he comes up again, I'm sure we'll be seeing a Roche fight coming along. So that's why Navi is just sitting up here. The last Roche time was around 22, 23 minutes. So Roche could be beginning to spawn anytime soon. Havos is farming these Ancients, and that's one of the main reasons why he farms those Ancients as opposed to farming elsewhere. Because he's just trying to farm as close to the Roche pit as possible. So they're just waiting for Roshan to spawn, and they want to try and take down Roche for the third time. Because at this point of the game, and generally at this late into the game, Roshan determines a lot in team fights, and team fights determine games. So, and Aegis has a big say in what happens during a team fight, especially when you're pushing a tower. So I want to point out that Alliance is right here. They know that the Roshan's up soon. But one thing that is really, really good about this positioning by Navi is that Navi can run away. They can run just straight behind themselves right now if they want to. They can all get out of this fight without any issues. Funnick is over here. He can teleport in wherever he wants. But on the Alliance side, we have Batrider who had to blink away. So he blinked up here. His blink is on cooldown, which means he'd have to run up here to get away, or down here to get away. And then we've got a stunned Admiral Bulldog with his bear right here because of Puppy's Centaur. And then we have EGM and Aki who can't run away at all. They have no mobility. They're the two heroes on this map that have zero mobility. Admiral Bulldog has tank ability on his lone druid, but EGM and Aki have, 1,000 hit points, and one has a Ghost Scepter. That's it. That's all they've got. So, if they start getting hit, they're going to die. And Alliance recognizes this and says, hey, if we get into a team fight right now against them, no matter if we try and run away, Ursa with his blink will be able to run away. Admiral Bulldog might be able to run away on the lone druid. And then S4 has a decent chance of getting away because he's Batrider with a Force Staff. So in 20 seconds, even his Firefly's on cool, he's not going to be able to really get away easily. He's going to be able to get away just because the entire enemy jungle is clear and he has a lot of pathing to juke through. And by then, his Firefly and his Blink Dagger and his Force Staff will all be ready again. So he'll be able to get away. Probably. But I would say no matter what, these two heroes are dead. And then maybe Batrider's dead if they run away. But if they fight, at least they can pick off some kills, maybe even turn around the team fight and win the team fight, because they do have Ancient Apparition and Venomancer. If they can get both of their ults off, it pretty much hits half of everybody's hit points here. So that's the positioning problem that Alliance has right now, is that if they get caught out like this, they're going to have to commit to a team fight. So Admiral Bulldog is stunned. Loda realizes this, so he just goes in. He says, oh, we have to commit to this team fight. He's, unfortunately for him, not able to get off his BKB and then just dies immediately from lockdown. EGM gets shut into a corner and killed with the wolves. But yeah, so they actually lost the Ursa because the Ursa went into the fight, and then they lost Ancient Apparition. There's Venomancer. See, he's not able to run away at all. There's just no hope for him to run away. Just with this kind of lineup, he's just going to go down. There's nothing he can do. He might be able to TP out if he times it between people's stuns, but that's really difficult to do with that much burst damage. And then from that engagement, Navi's able to push up into the high ground and take out Arax, because they have Lycan and Shadow Shaman's Ward. So they're able to take out Arax and take out S4. So they were actually able to catch up to, come back to S4 when he got back. Dendy's able to run away at his speed, and Loda mans up. He runs in, he BKB, so he knows the enemy team is on their back foot because they're starting to run away, but he's able to catch out Havos. Havos does have buyback, but he's down for 80 seconds. And they're going to look to take advantage of this. Roshan should be up, right? Yep, he's up. So Alliance was able to kill the Lycan. And they're checking Roshan right now with EGM's ult. So they do check it, and they see that it's there. They see Kuroki blink away as well. One nice thing about the Ice Blast is that it does shut down blink daggers for the entire duration. So just the regular 9-second duration. So the 9-second duration is going to be able to shut down blink daggers for the time being. Another reason why Dendy opted for BKB and move speed instead of a blink dagger, because there's a lot of residual damage between Venomancer and Ancient Apparition. If he gets hit with any of that, or Batrider, if he gets hit with any of it, his blink dagger gets put on cooldown. So blink daggers are not as good for Invoker this game as well, on top of it being good to have hasted move speed whenever you desire. So Lycan, when Havos respawns, they're just going to go straight into the Roshan pit. Havos will probably even just TP down right here, and they'll go. Yep, let's see. Delicious water. Saves lives. So they just go into the Roshan pit. All 5 of them are right here, between the Howl, the Treants, and just their hero lineup. They're able to take it down so fast that Alliance cannot react to it. And I don't think they would be able to react to it after how the last team fight went, unless they got a really good jump on them, including the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast again. But Havost gets the Abyssal Blade, so he has all the lockdown he needs, and that means he can lock down even through BKB. So if Ursa comes and blinks in, he can immediately just lock him down. Just bam, lock him down. You know, I guess it is a 2-second stun, but he can just lock down Ursa for 2 seconds immediately, and then possibly get a bash right afterwards from the Abyssal. So that's 3.4 seconds, potentially stunned out of the duration of the BKB. So Navi has Aegis, they have Roche. There's no better thing than to push right now. Batrider does buy his BKB, so he's able to, well, safely jump in if the Abyssal Blade wasn't there. So the Abyssal Blade is going to fire on S4 as soon as he hops in, and then he just dies. There's nothing he can do about that. He tried to pick off anybody that he could, probably Havost, just separate him from the crowd, not even necessarily kill, but Loda comes in, he gets bashed twice by Havost on the basher, so he's able to kill him from that. But the buyback from Ursa is going to make sure that this Rax does not go down as well. So they're able to convert his buyback into a kill for a Havost kill, as well as pushing them all back. So that buyback completely worth it. So, like I said before, the name of this game was the fact that Alliance wants to initiate, and then Navi has to counter that initiation. Abyssal Blade is an amazing counter to the initiation of Blink Daggers. Lycan was able to Abyssal Batrider immediately, and they were actually able to stun Ursa, luckily for them, right after he came in. So, that's the name of the game, and between the Tornado earlier on, the sheep on Invoker, you know, and then the natural sheep, the natural hex by Shadow Shaman, they're able to get some lockdown. Even though those don't go through BKB, the Abyssal Blade does, and you can shut down most of the BKB, because if we look, the disadvantage of getting a BKB earlier is that your BKB duration goes down. Ursa's is down to 6 seconds on Loda. Batrider just picked his up, so he's still at 9 seconds. He just used it that one time in the last team fight. But anyway, there's not too much action going on. I mean, the bottom racks will be contested for, and Funnick's just farming up here. That's pretty much what's going on. Their Alliance is going to try and pick off Funnick if they can. He did just pick up a Blink Dagger. I want to actually talk a little bit about this Blink Dagger. So, normally, when you see a Nature's Prophet, the build you see, at least in, you know, when you play a pub match, is, hey, I'm going to get boots of speed, maybe in the face boots, something like that. Go into a Midas from there, go into a Shadow Blade, and then get like Sheep Stick. That's the most common build. As of late, it's been more Necrobooks, but you don't see Blink Daggers on Nature's Prophet that much. And the reason why is because if you get the Shadow Blade earlier on, it forces a lot of things out of your opponent. A, you get more right-click damage. That means you can knock down towers and you can push faster. B, you can get away, you know, safer than a Blink Dagger if they don't have detection. So C, it forces them to not only TP onto you, but buy detection as well in order to shut you down. So it's like a twofold win. And if you don't have the detection at any point, you get away for free. But this was a really smart pickup by Funnick to get a Blink Dagger. You know, it's 30, 40 minutes into the game, and he gets a Blink Dagger instead of a Shadow Blade because he doesn't really need that right-click damage. I mean, 1,000 gold for the right-click damage of 30, I think. Yeah, 30 for the Shadow Blade is just not worth it to him. And plus, Alliance has a gem, so that kind of puts that out of point. And everybody else has so much mobility that Funnick just needs to stay alive, and the Blink Dagger is going to let him stay alive. like I said before, BKB doesn't help much because of all the bashers, abyssal blades, roots, Batrider, everything like that. Like BKB does not help that much as you want it to. It's not worth the 3,700 gold, but have 2,000 gold for the extra positioning is worth it way better. Like, if they were the same cost, Funnick still would have bought the Blink Dagger over the BKB in this situation, I'm pretty sure. Just because most of the lockdown, it goes through BKB. The damage does not, another important point to bring up, but getting that Blink Dagger is super, super cool. So let's go back into the game. See, he's already using the Blink Dagger. It lets him split push more, and then he can get Puppy and Dendy and Havost and Kuroki down here to just push down this rack. So this lets Funnick get into a lot more precarious situation and potentially get away, but actually not get away this time. But one thing to note about this is that there's no TP scroll on S4 right now. Ursa was able to TP back to base, and S4 actually had to go back to the side shop to buy a TP scroll to stop this push. So that one engagement where they were trying to take down Funnick actually cost them that range racks because of how quickly they can push down. So even though they were able to convert a kill, they lost both of their raxes because of getting a kill on Nature's Prophet. They were not in position, and they pretty much had to give up that rax. So it was really good positioning, and the lack of awareness from Alliance as far as where Navi was let them get that rax. Like this ward right here, very, very, very defensive ward. This is the ward that I usually personally put up when our raxes are in contention. So that's where they put it up. If they would have had a ward like in a more aggressive spot, like right here, they might have been able to see it, or better yet, in their own jungle, because that's where all of Navi was. If they would have had one there, they would have been able to react better and potentially save their racks. So I'm not saying that this is a bad spot. This is a really good spot. This is just a very, very defensive spot, and with the amount of move speed that the other team has, that Navi has, it's hard to react in time. Kuroki has an amazing hex on S4 here. Just check this out. So S4 blinks in, and Kuroki hexes him before he can lasso anything. He's dead. Kuroki bites the dust for that one, but yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. Dendy was under BKB that whole time. He was sprouted in, which was unfortunate for him, but the BKB didn't do much. He was still stunned by Basher, and then he was still hit. It just saves him from the residual damage. And then we see Navi is buying back into the game. So if we saw, Ursa had to buy back that last team fight, which gives a nice window of opportunity for Navi here. Puppy is probably going to go down here. We'll see. Yeah, he does go down. Ancient Apparition pops him with the ult, but Ancient Apparition also dies at the same time, so that's a relatively fair trade. And they know that Ursa's down for a minute and cannot buy back. The Blink Dagger on Funnick is coming into use. He actually has a hex as well to help him out. So in this situation, Kuroki uses his shackle on the bear over anything else. And the reason why he did that is because the bear has bash and the bear has root. Like one attack, 20% on top of 25%. Like one attack there's a decent chance that he'll get rooted with or bash with any attack. So he pretty much has to shackle the Spare Bear. And he can't really shackle Admiral Bulldog at all, who at this point is 9-0. One thing I want to talk about is that Admiral Bulldog just purchased an MKB on his bear. Now, there's no evasion on the side of Navi at all, but he purchased the MKB because that's how important this lockdown is in this fight. The Maelstrom, so a little bit about how all of these proc is that he has a Maelstrom, which procs, he has a Basher, which procs, he actually has a Helm of the Dominator that has lifesteal, and then he's getting an MKB. So the MKB procs independently of the roots and the bash. So I'm the if first the game does a check to see, oh, are you going to root? Okay, cool. You're going to root. Are you going to root? No. Okay. Well, then are you going to MKB? Okay, cool. Then let's MKB. Actually, I think it goes root, basher, MKB. So between the three of those, it's like, okay, are you going to root? Are you going to MKB? Are you going to basher? Or root, basher, MKB. So it kind of just does those checks independently of one another, so they don't stack on top of each other, which is really, really good for Lone Druid, because that means he has a pretty good chance of one of them going off at any point in time. The Maelstrom will proc 25% of the time. It's an independent proc, so it doesn't really matter. You can bash and lightning. But you won't get the lifesteal on that proc. Helm of the Dominator is an interesting choice. The main reason he did that is because his bear's dying, and he needs lifesteal and armor. Keep him alive. He got it for the armor more than anything else. He has AC, and he has Helm of the Dominator on his bear, just so that it stays alive against Lycan. And it's staying alive a lot better now. But that's why he picked up the MKB, and why you don't see MKB too often. Or, I mean, like, you usually only see MKB just for the True Strike, so that you can go through evasion. But, like I said, there's no evasion the other team at all. He got it for a lot of damage, so he's going to be able to take down towers very, very quickly. And he got it because that 35% to bash on top of 25 on top of 20 is just huge. Like, something's going to happen, and any channeled spell, I guess Shackle is the only really channeled spell here, is not going to last long. I mean, all of that. So yeah, that's that. So we got the MKB on Lone Druid. If Alliance can get an advantage because of their amount of push and how their push scales better than Navi's, it's hard to say because Lycan's scales really well as well. But Spirit Rare scales incredibly well as far as pushing towers goes. Like, he can solo down. If Navi were to team wipe right now, they would lose any one of their lanes of racks and tier 2 towers easy. And they could also potentially convert that into just going towards the throne instead. So even though this game doesn't look very close, it's actually really, really close right now. Oh, excuse me. So, like I said earlier, and like I said, this entire game depends on Roshan kills. Vost is better spent sitting in this Roshan pit trying to look for a kill than he is for anything else. Like, this is his goal right now. He's just going to sit here. That's it. Like, bam, sit here. Oh, thank you, Kuroki. He blinks at him just to give him mana. But yeah, this is all Havos is doing right now, and this is the most important thing for him to do. He has 3,900 gold. He's making sure he has buyback, but realistically, what item is he going to buy? BKB? Never. So he sits in that Roach Pit just waiting. Alliance is much more in the dark. Roach did just spawn. They're much more in the dark about it, but they do have things like Ancient Apparition's Alt to do it. Instead of using it in the Roach Pit, this is actually really important and really smart from EGM. Instead of using it just to look at the Roach Pit over and over and over again, he uses it to try and hit these people for the team fight. Unfortunately for him, he was not able to hit anybody, and the Boots of Travel from the Lycan let him just come into the team fight. Basher on S4. Very unfortunate for his BKB, but S4 is actually able to still be alive here and do contribute to the fight, even though he has no health whatsoever. Yeah, so overall, they didn't really lose that much. Loaded did have to buy back, but if you look, it's just not that much happened. Ancient Apparition killed Dendi up here. So Ancient Apparition was able to just man up and just rock out on Dendi right there. Dendi drops his gems, so they're just gems everywhere at this point in the game. Getting to be the late game where smaller mistakes can have huge impacts, and everybody has gems. And everybody buys back when they die. So this Loda bought back, but they're going to push right now. So right now, check out this situation. We've got a Boast here soloing Roche. against a push that's going to come for his base. So their alliance is missing 2 Raxes and have to at least kill this creep wave before they can get everybody else to come and kill their Rax. But they have almost a minute to do it. What Havos is doing is actually really, really smart. Is he's going for Roche. Or Havos is going for Roshan. So this forces Alliance into a situation. They either can give up this Roche, which is actually almost dead. Give up the Roche, and then Havos can get a kill or 2. Or they can go Rax. But killing Havos actually bought them some time. So the Roche is almost dead. They finish off the Roche. And now Alliance can start pushing. But he bought 30 seconds for his team. 30 seconds of them not destroying his base. And Havos, he has more money than he knows what to do with, so he's not too troubled about buying that. All in all, I would say that's actually a really smart decision for Havos to go for Roche, because he forced Alliance to either let him have the Roche, and then this team fight would be an instant win, or to... yeah, basically forced either they have the Roche and then they don't lose the Rax, or they go for the Rax, they try and get the Rax, and then Havos gets Roshan, or they get Roshan. Like, that was actually, even though it looked like it was a really bad decision by Havos, it was a really smart decision because he could have gotten away with it if it weren't for that Admiral Bulldog. But Admiral Bulldog was able to get him in the end. So Alliance just retreats. They have the Aegis on Admiral Bulldog, and the cheese, I believe, is on Admiral Bulldog's bear, so wherever his bear may be. Yeah, so he has the cheese there. And Alliance smokes up. They're just looking for an opening right now. They have the Aegis, they have the cheese, they have their best possible situation, pretty much. Havos bought back, which even though I said it was good that Havos died and was able to save the Rax, now they have 5 minutes where they can't lose Havos. Because if they lose their Lycan, they risk losing the entire game. Lycan's push and just physical damage is through the roof, and without that, Navi can't really 4v5 team fight at all. So they have to keep Havos alive here for the next 5 minutes. And he goes, you know, who needs BKB? I go Sange. Sange and Yasha. No, he's probably going for a halberd for the Ursa, so that he can shut down Ursa from just doing incredible damage. So Navi smokes up right here. And Kuroki, with his quick reactions, actually saves his own life. Puppy, who does not have the fortunate effect of a Blink Dagger, just gets dominated. And then this team fight goes. BKBs have already gone off on most people. Most takes out barely from Ancient Apparition plus Venomancer's ult. By the way, Ancient Apparition and Venomancer together is a really, really good combo. Just look at this. Gale, Veno ult, goes, ticks, like dead. 800 damage, 900 damage, it's gone. Like, yeah, he's at 941 when he starts running away. He takes down to dead. There, bam, he just lost over a third of his hit points while he was running away. So phenomenal amount of damage and a really, really solid combo of supports, assuming you have the correct lineup for it. And Alliance, with their very aggressive lineup, as they have supports that can scale into the late game like that. Even without, I mean, like, as long as you're level 16, you're doing a lot of damage. You don't have the Scepter, so you're not doing the 108 damage a second, but... So, anywho, you see that Dendi barely kills us for right there. He's almost dead. Funny sprouts the bear and halberds the bear. So no, the bear was just, never mind. He was hit by a Deafening Blast, so he's disabled. And then Dendi comes back in and he's able to ice wall while Funny blinks into the trees and TP's out. So that was actually really key right there. Since Havos was already dead that entire time, that forced Admiral Bulldog to go back and forth, up here, up here, up here, up here, just back and forth. And it saved them like 30 seconds as far as how quickly they were going to push the racks. And every second matters here because Vos cannot buy back. They've got 40 seconds without him. So Navi is going to have to do whatever they can to try and keep their base alive in the next 40 seconds. Tornado Meteor, like Tornado EMP, just one of the best counter initiations in the game. Dendi gets lassoed, but is able to use out after it. So Navi engages a team fight in a 4v5 where their Lycanthrope, if you check, has 21 seconds until he can respawn again. Like, he has 21 seconds until he respawns. So it's not looking good for Navi right now. As much as they are ahead, they're fighting a 5v4 with an Admiral Bulldog, Lone Druid with an Aegis and a Cheese, and and they're pushing directly into the base. And like I said, so this is actually looking really, really bad for Navi. They could lose right here. The goal right now for the entire team is just stall. Do whatever you can to get their focus away from the Raxes onto the heroes and don't die. Like that's their only goal right now. They don't want to get any kills at all. They're just like trying to cause as much mayhem as humanly possible to get enough time for Vos to come back alive, and then they can go rush it. So let's go back, see how this turns out. So they go, and they're actually able to trap Admiral Bulldog in the wards. Dendi gets out with 200 hit points, comes back and hexes S4 while hitting the bear, trying to keep Funnick alive. Like they're just they're just going around in circles, trying to just keep everybody alive. That's their goal. Funnick does go down. Puppy is right here, but another tornado comes in, and this slows down them again. Funnick is alive, and now Lycan is alive, so they're fine now. Lycan's back alive, and then he's going to be able to chase everybody down, because he always has max move speed along with his creeps, which is why my focus is so good on him. Once again, oh gosh, I did it again. Let's go back into the fight. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm really bad at that. I'll get better. I'm sorry. Back into the fight. Okay, let's go forward into the fight. Okay. Now. Okay, so we've got all of the stalling going on by Navi. All that they can do. And they're just trying to stay alive, like I said before. Dendi is going ham and just kiting like crazy. It's out of the way. See, all this I was talking about before. They got stunned by cold feet there, knocked back. So Funnick was the one that died. Admiral Bulldog still not able to die. 11-0 with 10 assists. Somebody give that guy a gold star. But this is where Havos comes back, and it gets to the point that like Alliance gave everything they could for that. You know, they've got an Ursa who's down forever. He can't buy back for another 10 seconds. He doesn't have the gold to buy back. So Admiral Bulldog is dead. That was Admiral Bulldog's first death all game.
The Radiant got one last top tower.
What happens up here is really cool. So S4 comes up here. He's trying to get away, but Navi is having the hardest time trying to see S4. So if we look, this is the Dyer's vision. They don't see him. They blink up just to get vision. They try and use a tornado to get vision. Dendi can hardly see S4. He can't get to him. And then he's about ready to escape, and Funnick uses his treants for vision so that they can see S4 and get those last couple hits on him and get the kill. That is some very good forward thinking on Funnick's part, just to be able to know that he's going to, that's going to happen. And if you saw, they actually had Batrider pop his BKB at the last moment there, because it was exactly that's why, because if he died right there without buyback, he was not coming back for 100 seconds, and there was really no real hope. But anyway, that is the game. yeah. Exit out, and yeah. So cool. All right. So yeah, that was the game that happened yesterday. The Alliance versus Navi and the D2CL. And yeah, that's pretty much all there was to talk about from it. The lineups, actually, because they were so similar, caused a lot of choke points within the match. You saw that the Roshan fights were all very, very much contested, and that timer was both teams knew when Roshan would start spawning and would check for the next 3 minutes. So Roshan spawns between 8 and 11 minutes after you kill him. And they were just checking between that time every time because the Roshan fights were that important to both teams. So, yeah, that was why there was so much contention on both of those fronts. And on all 3 or 4 Roshan kills. 3, I think. Yeah. So ever since once they got to the key points where they got the key items, when Vlad's was on Lycan, Vlad's was on Ursa. Like that's the first contention point. Batrider gets Blink. That's another contention point. Just like as soon as they get items, Assault Curious, even though that doesn't seem like it's a big issue, it's massive for both Lycan and Lone Druid because of all of the right click damage. So like that gives them that bonus that they need. And then whenever at that point it's just whenever Rosh spawns, we need to get Roshan. We need him like more so than anything else. Which is another reason why Havos went forward by himself. But yeah, that's the game. Let's see. Well, Twitch chat, see if I've got any questions. It'll be just 1 second. Cool. All right, so I appreciate you guys tuning in. And like I said, this was RoopleeTV, episode number 3. Today is Saturday, March 29th, 2014. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate all your guys' support. If you like me, subscribe. If you have suggestions for me, please suggest. I'm open to everything. I mean, besides, obviously, I missed a couple of camera motions. I mean, that's what happens. When you're doing it live, things do happen. So, unfortunately, that was just one of the side effects. Yeah, but thank you for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to be doing yet tomorrow, but I do know that I want to focus more on people who are newer to Dota. I do like analyzing the pro games, and I think there's a lot you can gain from it as a professional player or as a really high-level player. Like, you can learn a lot from the professional replays, but the problem is a lot of professional strategies don't actually work out for the average user. Like, when you go into a game, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to get free farm on my Lycan for 15 minutes. Like, that just doesn't normally happen in public games. So, yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. I appreciate it, and I will catch you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. PST. Take it easy.